Madness, 𝑚𝑥. Completed. Written by SaerriiChan. Narrated by Tristan Guile and Shay and Caden Catalina. Chapter 1.
Chrysler, how's Aunt Beth?
Janice, my girlfriend, asked while caressing my arms and looking at me worriedly. She's stable now. I smiled at her and kissed her forehead. But I need to settle her hospital bills. I need to find a job as soon as possible, I said, and then released a frustrated sigh. My mom got a heart attack. Though she was stable, she needed to stay at the hospital to be monitored. No one would shoulder our finances. Our mom is the only one who's been working since my dad died last year, so I really need to find a job to support her and my younger sister. I looked at Janice, and I saw her looking at me while biting her lower lip. If she did that, she wanted to tell me something that bothered her. I knew her too well. We had been together for 2 years, and she was the best girlfriend that I ever had. She said, stuttering. She hesitated. I took her hand and squeezed it. What is it? I said, looking at her sincerely. She sighed and looked at me worriedly.
I'm quitting my job.
My forehead creased. I knew that she was having a hard time working with her boss, but I couldn't believe that she would quit right away. It was just a week before she got hired there. Why? She frowned and let go of my hand.
You know why. I always told you how rude and grumpy my boss is. He always shouts at me, and I can't take it anymore. The last one just drained every ounce of patience I have.
I sighed and just hugged her. Okay. What'll happen now? We're both jobless.
Nope. I have been hired already, and you will be hired as well. You want a job? I'm offering you a job. You will replace me. My boss can't work without a secretary.
Are you serious?
Yes, dear.
She was smiling from ear to ear while looking at me. Are you sure that a male secretary is okay with your boss?
Yep. He requested it to be male this time, and I don't know why. Just send me your curriculum vitae. I'll give it to them right away.
Wow. You're an angel to me. I love you so much. I held her face and kissed her on the lips.
I love you too. I miss you, babe,
she said, and then kissed me back again. She sat on my lap while I was sitting on the couch. Her hand curled up to my nape, and my hands intimately caressed the side of her hip. Damn, I missed you too, I said as I kissed her hard this time.
I want you, Chris,
she said as she bit my lower lip. I opened my mouth and let her tongue touch mine. I entered my tongue into her mouth and licked every corner of her mouth, kissing her toward me. We both moaned when she rubbed herself on my crotch, and I knew she could feel how hard I was. We immediately removed all of our clothes, and without any further ado, she was already riding me senselessly while trying to reach our zenith. It was morning already, and it was my first day working as a secretary. I was on my way riding public transportation, a jeepney to be exact, going to IT Park. I took a 10 peso coin from my coin purse and tapped the coin on the metal handle above my head to create a sound making the jeepney stop. Doing what I did to the coin was one way of telling the driver to stop because I was going down. That was how it worked here in Cebu. I gave my 10 peso coin to the female in front of me, passing it to the driver as a payment for my fare before I went down. Wearing formal attire, black slack and shoes, and a button-down pink polo that was a gift from my girlfriend. With confidence, I walked towards the 𝘊𝘺𝑚𝑚 Cyberzone Tower with confidence, when someone suddenly approached me.
Hi, sir. Are you trying to find a job? I can help you get hired right away through my referral.
The woman said while smiling. I chuckled a bit. This was really what would happen if someone were to come here to IT Park. There were a lot of people who would approach you for a job because they would get something as a referral. I'm already hired, miss. I declined politely to her as I made my way inside the building. I took out one of my IDs out of my black sling bag and showed it to the guard, telling him that I was newly hired and that I would be going to the 20th floor. They let me write my name on the logbook, took my ID, and gave me a temporary ID pass, which was what I'm going to use in the meantime. They would provide my permanent company ID later and an access card, as they told me last week. I took the ID pass and hurriedly walked towards the elevator. I glanced at my wristwatch, and it was already 7:30 a.m. I had 30 minutes to prepare myself for my post since my shift was at 8. I needed to make a good impression, and that was never to come to work late. The elevator made a dinging sound as it opened, and I needed to wait until all of the people inside came out. It was packed because some BPO companies were renting some floors of the building, and those who always approached me whenever I was there were from those call center companies. Maybe it was the end of their shift and they were going home. Their looks were almost the same, sleepy. The ride from the elevator going to the 20th floor takes a bit long. The elevator kept on stopping for almost every floor, and only 2 of us were left going up. Maybe she was a colleague? The elevator stops on the 20th floor, and we both get out of the elevator going in the same direction.
Hi. Are you the new secretary?
I stopped in my tracks and looked at her. She was smiling while looking at me. I smiled timidly, not to look rude to her. Yeah, I'm Chrysler, by the way.
I'm Clary. I wasn't here last Friday. They said that you were here with Janice?
She briefed me about the job she left. She also orients me on what to do.
Yeah, I know. I was with the boss. Since he didn't have a secretary at the time, he took me with him. I'm his brother's secretary.
Oh, that explains why I didn't see you last Friday.
Yeah, I gotta go. Good luck,
she said, giving me a wink that made me chuckle. I sat down at my post and turned on the computer right away. I need to check my boss's schedule for today. I haven't seen him. He wasn't here last Friday because he had a business meeting in Singapore, but it was stated in the schedule that he would be here today. I logged in first for my attendance. I logged in at 7:50 a.m. It was 10 minutes early, and I hope it would give him a good impression of me once he sees my login time. I checked his schedule first, and he has an appointment at 8:30 a.m. with Mr. Royce Tan. It was a breakfast meeting at the Waterfront Hotel. I glanced at my wristwatch, and it was still 7:55 a.m., so I hurriedly went to the bathroom and peed. I went back 2 minutes later, and the phone on my post already kept on ringing. I hurriedly ran towards my post and answered the call right away.
Where the hell is my coffee?
A loud voice thundered on the other line the moment I put the phone to my ear. I felt that my eardrum was going to explode. My eyes widened. Fuck. I forgot that he wanted his coffee ready 5 minutes before 8. I'm sorry, sir. I was in the comfort...
I don't need your explanation. I need my coffee now!
He said before dropping the call. Ah, shit. I hurriedly ran towards the pantry and made his black coffee. I tried to remember what Janice thought of me. She said only 1 cube of sugar and 3 teaspoons of black coffee. I stir it in a clockwise motion as she told me as well. Shit. His boss was so OC. Damn it. Now, what happened to giving him a first good impression, Chrysler? You just ruined your boss's day. I knocked twice before I got inside his office with a mug of smoking coffee in my hand. I walked towards his desk, and good thing that his back was facing me. He was sitting on his swivel chair, while pacing on the glass wall while holding his phone to his ear. Here's your coffee, sir, I said, as I placed the coffee on his table. He turned around harshly, and that made me stand straight up in front of him. I almost gasped when I saw his face while looking at me grimly. Shit, he was mad. I'm dead. Chapter 2. I pursed my lips, looking at his murderous look. His brows furrowed while looking at me, and I didn't know why I felt nervous. but a different kind of one. I was cursing myself in my head because I fucking find him hot. Like, what the hell? I looked at his eyes and it was drowning me. I cursed my mind. I stiffened when I felt aroused when he looked at me from head to toe. I cursed again. What the hell was happening to me? I shook those thoughts away. I need to focus. I was already scolded by my boss a while ago. Was he going to shout at me again for bringing his coffee late? Janice was right. His boss looks grumpy this early in the morning, and thanks to him. He rested his back on his swivel chair without breaking his eye contact from me. I saw a ghost of a smirk from his lips that made my brows furrow. What was that?
So, you're my new secretary?
His baritone voice filled my ears, giving me more goosebumps. Yes, Sir Montenegro. Damn, good thing I didn't stutter.
What's your name?
Chrysler Lopez, sir. He reached the coffee on his table and took a sip of it. I was just watching him. I couldn't even take my eyes off him. He was wearing a business tuck which fit him. His necktie was not tied. It was just hanging on his neck. He caught me looking at his tie, so I looked away.
Do you know how to tie a necktie?
He asked while raising his brow to me. I looked at him again and gulped. His aura intimidated me. Yes, sir. He took the necktie from his neck and stood up. He walked towards me while holding his tie in his hand and stopped in front of me. I looked up because he towered over me. I was 5'7", and I was tall for my age of 21, but he was taller. I bet he was 5'9" or 6 feet, perhaps more. I was only an inch above his neck.
Care to help me?
He said, handing me the necktie. I startled a bit for just a mere touch of our fingers. It was like volts of electricity flowed from our fingers, making all my nerves alive. And why do I find his voice so sensual? This is crazy. Okay. It came out of my mouth as a whisper while I was holding the tie in my hand. I tried to compose myself first, and then tried to look up. I tiptoed so that I could place on his necktie. I tried so much to relax, but my heart was beating so fast because of my nervousness. My hands were almost shaking. Damn it. He looked down on me and smirked.
Relax. I'm not going to eat you.
I shivered as I felt his breath on my face. His breath smelled really good. I cursed again with my head. What the hell is going on with you, Chrysler? We were both men, like what the hell? I'm sorry, sir. I tried not to look at his face because it was distracting me. It's done, sir. I stepped back after I finished tying his necktie. We were too close, and I didn't like what I was feeling.
Good. Thank you. Any appointment that I need to know?
He said, and then went back and sat in his chair. Yes, sir. You actually have a breakfast meeting with Mr. Royce Tan at 8:30 at Waterfront, sir.
Okay. Prepare my things. You're coming with me.
Pardon, sir? I asked, confused. Why do I need to go with him? He glared at me like I was stupid.
You're my secretary. Of course, you're coming with me to take some notes.
Oh, of course, yes, sir. I'll prepare it now. Excuse me. I said and then hurriedly walked out of his office. That was so stupid of me. I forgot again that my boss couldn't work without a secretary. I sighed in relief when I arrived back at my post. It was actually a good thing that he didn't shout at me again. What happened to me a while ago? Damn it. I almost didn't know myself back there. Maybe I was just tense because it was my first day. There was no way my boss will look more appealing to me than my girlfriend. Hell no. Shit, speaking of my girlfriend, I forgot to say good morning to her. Damn it. I took my phone and sent her a good morning text before I prepared everything for our breakfast meeting. Composing myself first was the thing that I did before talking to my boss again. We were on our way down to the parking lot. I was just quiet the whole time. Same with my boss.
Do you know how to drive?
My boss asked when we arrived in front of a car. Yes, sir.
Here.
He said, tossing me the car key.
You drive. I need to make some calls while on our way there.
He added before getting inside of the back seat. So I was the only one in front. I really look like a driver right now. I maneuvered the car and drove it. The whole drive, he was talking to someone on his phone, maybe another client. In less than 5 minutes, we arrived at the waterfront hotel. It was on the note that the breakfast meeting would be in 𝘂𝑚 restaurant inside the hotel. I was walking behind my boss while getting inside the hotel. It was actually my first time getting inside of this hotel. It was actually a big and very high-standard one. I was amazed when I got inside the lobby. Everything looked so stylish, from the high-ceiling chandelier that makes a glittering light dance across the luxurious hallway, down to the floor that was made in a fine marble, which made every step that I took echo. I gaped at the splendid sight and almost bumped on the back of my boss when he suddenly stopped. Good thing that my reflexes are fast. He turned and faced me with a scowl.
Why are you walking behind me?
He asked while his brows furrowed. My forehead creased as I looked at him. What's wrong if I walk behind him? What's wrong with that, sir?
What's wrong? I don't like it. I want you to walk beside me.
He seriously said, which made me look away at him, trying to stifle my frown. Okay, sir, I said and let out a frustrated sigh. Seriously? Just because he didn't like it, I need to obey it? Damn. Why did it feel so awkward while walking beside him?
Did you already eat your breakfast?
He suddenly asked again, which made my brows furrowed again. Not yet, sir, I politely said. Should I also ask why? Did he always ask his secretary if he or she already ate their breakfast? That was so weird to me.
I don't like my secretary not eating any breakfast. Working without eating makes you sloppy during work. And I don't want sloppy work, Chrysler.
He said, glancing on my side. Okay, sir. I'll remember that from now on. I bit my inner cheek. He was actually right. I should have eaten breakfast first before going to work. I'll do that from now on. He was not bad at all. At least he also got a little bit of concern for his employees.
Good.
We got inside the 𝘂𝑚 restaurant, and the lady led us to a table when my boss told her that we got a reservation under his name. Someone was already sitting on one of the chairs on the said table. The man stood up when he saw us approaching the table where he was at. He also wore the same business suit as my boss, and I just confirmed that it was Mr. Tan when my boss greeted him the moment we got in front of him.
Good morning, Mr. Tan. Did I keep you waiting?
Oh, no, Mr. Montenegro. I was just early.
He said, smiling. He was a bit older compared to our boss.
Shall we eat breakfast first before we proceed with the business talk?
My boss said with a smile.
Sure, that would be fine.
I'm with my secretary, by the way.
Oh, a new one? Where's that sexy secretary that I saw last week?
Mr. Tan said, laughing. Was he talking about my girlfriend Janice? What the hell?
Yeah, she already quit. Not a loss anyway. She's so sloppy.
My boss said with a grimace. Wow, really? What was Janice really doing at work that made his boss like this? Jeez. Mr. Tan laughed again.
I really thought that you liked her type. She doesn't look bad at all.
He said while laughing. What the? Does he like Janice? Really? The boyfriend was here. I am the boyfriend.
Not really. You don't have any idea what really my type is, Mr. Tan.
My boss said while looking at me intently, giving me another goosebump all over. Holy shit. Why was he looking at me while saying that? Chapter 3. Chrysler. I didn't know what was wrong with me. But after he said that, I became restless. Why did he have to look at me while saying those things? Like it was... No, it was ridiculous. I needed to stop these weird thoughts that were running in my mind. I tried to shake all of those thoughts away by focusing on eating my food. We all ordered the same meal plan. It was an American breakfast. It consists of crispy bacon, sausage, hash browns, sunny-side-up eggs, pancake, sliced bread, jam, brewed coffee, and milk. The way it was presented to me on the plate made it more appetizing for our sight, especially to me. I love cooking, but I love to eat more. I was silently eating while Mr. Tan and my boss were talking. I didn't want to listen, but of course we were at the same table, so there was no way I couldn't hear everything.
When are you gonna get married, Dark?
I abruptly stopped eating when I heard Mr. Tan casually address my boss with his first name. I was confused. I tried not to look at them so they would not notice that I listened to what they were talking about. My boss laughed humorously.
Stop asking about my love life, Royce.
He said while shaking his head. He was done being formal with each other because now they were casually talking like friends.
I'm just concerned as your uncle, Dark. You're not getting any younger.
What the? Was he his uncle? I can't stop myself from looking at them, like, seriously. I thought he was just his business partner. I looked at both of them, and I could really see some resemblance. My forehead creased when I just realized something. Why are we really here anyway? If they would only talk about his love life, he should have left me in the office. He doesn't need me here.
I'm still in my 30s. It's still younger for me.
My boss said while shrugging. They looked at me when they noticed that I was staring at them with a confused expression.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm actually his uncle.
Mr. Tan said while smiling at me. I smiled back and just continued eating.
Your secretary's so quiet. Is he really like that?
I almost choked when I heard what Mr. Tan said. I was coughing while trying to reach the water when my boss reached it and gave it to me.
Hey, are you okay?
He said worriedly while tapping my back, making me jump from my seat when I felt something weird when his hand touched my back. And I know that he felt it too, because he looked at me while his jaw was clenching. My eyes widened when I felt something cold on my stomach. I cursed while looking at myself, and then I saw how wet I am because of the water that I should be drinking spilled on me. Damn it.
Are you okay?
Mr. Tan asked while looking at me. I heard my boss cursing on my side when he saw what happened to my clothes. Crap. This day is getting really frustrating. I'm fine, Mr. Tan, I said while smiling timidly. I fetched my hanky in my pocket and tried to wipe myself. Damn it. Even my slacks were also wet. I frowned while still wiping myself.
You're wet.
My boss said while looking at me with a dark expression. My brows furrowed. It was apparent, boss. I wanted to say it back, but I was afraid that he would fire me in an instant.
Can you excuse us for a moment, Royce?
My boss said as he turned to look at Mr. Tan. I looked at my boss with a confused expression.
Sure. I'll just continue eating here.
Mr. Tan said while smiling. I didn't know what they were talking about. I was just startled when my boss suddenly dragged me away from our table. He was holding my arm while walking at a fast pace. Sir, what are you doing? I couldn't help but ask. He was literally dragging me, and I don't know why. And this weird thing that I am feeling is making me more restless because he was holding my arm.
We need to do something with your clothes.
He said without looking at me, and just continued walking until I saw that we were going towards the restroom. He dragged me inside, and I heard the clicking sound of the door lock. Why did he need to lock it? I didn't like the atmosphere here. I didn't know why, but I felt like I was being suffocated. We were all alone here. Damn it.
Take off your clothes.
What? My eyes widened from what he said.
I said, take off your clothes. Or do you want me to take it off for you?
He said while clenching his jaw. Why am I going to take it off?
Silly. We're going to dry it. Or are you thinking of something else?
He shook his head and then walked towards the sink and opened a compartment below and took something. It was a blow dryer. Damn. Why was I thinking different things when he said he wanted me to take off my clothes? The hell? I wanted to punch myself. Did I just embarrass myself? Oh, shit. I didn't answer him and embarrassed myself again. I just did what he told me. I took off my upper clothes, and I didn't know why my hands were shaking while unbuttoning them. I glanced at him, and now I know why. He was looking at me intently the whole time. His aura was dark like his name, and I think it clouded every sanity that I had left. I cursed again silently while taking off my clothes as fast as I could.
Give it to me,
he said while still staring at me. I was only wearing a sleeveless white shirt that fits my body and my slacks. My body was lean because I work out every week. I held my button-down polo with me while thinking of just getting the blow dryer from him instead and giving him my polo. Let me do that. Give me that, I said while looking at the blow dryer in his hand. He scoffs, and his eyes become darker and intense while looking at me.
I'm your boss, and it's an order. You give me your clothes, so we'll be done here right away.
I gulped and just gave him my clothes right away. The way he said it made me obey him in an instant, and I didn't know why. His fingers accidentally touched my hand, and we both startled and looked at each other. He suddenly laughed and looked at me amused.
You feel it too?
It's not a question. He was sure of it. What are you talking about? I lied as I looked away from him. It was just my imagination. I didn't feel anything. That was nothing, I convinced myself. I didn't want to acknowledge it, and I didn't want to think about it.
You're lying.
He looked at me while his eyes were slitting. He knows that I'm lying. Am I too transparent? Damn it. I'm not. Why would I lie? I tried to look at him in the eyes just to convince him that I'm not lying.
Really? Yeah. Tell me why.
He was starting to irritate me.
What's wrong with you?
He scoffed and looked at me while his jaw was clenching.
How about you? What's wrong with you? Why do you deny how you feel?
I do not deny anything. I don't feel anything.
You don't? Let me do something to convince myself that we don't feel the same.
My eyes widened when he started to walk towards me. I was stepping back when he stepped forward until the wall hit my back. What are you doing? I snapped, looking at him with a confused expression.
I want to prove something,
he said as he looked at me while licking his lower lip. I swallowed the lump in my throat. My breathing became uneven when he cornered me to the wall and moved his face closer to mine. I cocked my face to the side to avoid his stare. I could feel his breath on my face. All of a sudden, the comfort room became hot, and I didn't know why.
You're in a denial stage,
he said, which made me look at him confused. What are you talking about? I looked at him with a confused expression while he was looking at me amusedly. I shivered when he suddenly put his hand on my neck, and then caressed it down to my shoulder, down my bare arm. My eyes instantly shut, and I was panting really hard. Volts of electricity from his hands flowed to every nerve of my body.
Can't you feel it? The tension is so strong between us, and I love how your body reacts from my touch.
My eyes snapped open, and I pushed him away from it. No, this was insane. I was looking at him, bewildered by what just happened.
You can't deny it forever. I will assure you that. For now, I will let you discover your inner self, and I will patiently be waiting for that,
he said before he gave me back my polo and went out of the comfort room, leaving me confused and dumbfounded.